What is going on? So after my struggle of putting those fuel rails together yesterday, today I finally got around to building some lines, and you can see I already started on most of them. I figured I'd pick up the camera and, throw one together for you guys, just to kind of show you how I do it and why I use Vibrant fittings. So for starters, you got to get your hose cut. I usually tape it and then cut it on my bandsaw. They do make really nice cutters. Those work really well. Let's see, what else have I used in the past for cutting? I've used cutoff wheels. It's not the best way to do it. Bandsaw works really good, and a nice set of those hose cutting shears works awesome. So that's what I do to cut them, and then get it down to size, however big I need it to be. And then from there, take the fitting apart that you're gonna use. This is gonna be a straight fitting. And I put the one end in a vise with soft jaw clamps on it. That way you don't screw the fitting all up and make it all ugly and leave vise marks in it and stuff like that. So soft jaw vise clamps, super worth it. I think I paid like 10 bucks for these on Summit or Amazon or something. So they're cheap and well worth it. Now, after I get that in there, I'll show you why I like using Vibrant stuff. So it is a little bit difficult to see because the fittings are black, but it does have a real nice, big, wide open taper on there for the hose to go into. A common issue with some of the cheaper fittings that I've used is they're really, really difficult to get the actual hose started in here without fraying the hose all up, and this nice taper on here makes it really easy to slide the hose into. So you just slide it in, give it a couple twists, it goes right down with no problems. I don't know if I'm able to do this without some way of holding. I need to get a tripod. Okay, so that's in there. I got my hose end fitting, and basically the way I do it is I kind of stick it in on a little bit of an angle to start, and then just roll it on in there, and that helps to keep it from fraying out a lot. And then once it's started, just kind of push it down, twist it into place. The Vibrant ones go together really easily because of that taper on there. So you twist it down and you'll eventually bottom it out on the fitting. And once you get it down there, you will see if it'll focus or it won't. Well, yeah, it's hard to see it in the video, but it bottoms out in there. You'll know when you get it there. It's pretty obvious. So once you do that, flip it over and put it in the vise the other way. There you go. With the light on, I know the glare is probably terrible, but with the light on you can see kind of what I'm talking about with the hose sticking up there. So I usually just use something round, the smooth end of a drill bit. Even I'll just go in there and just kind of give it a little bit of a push to the side. Just pushing on the inside of the hose. I'm not pushing on the fitting or the threads or anything like that, because you don't want to mar the threads up. Now once you get it like just tucked a little bit, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I usually put a little bit of high pressure lube on them. So just a little dab, just because if these fittings go together dry sometimes, they can be really, really difficult to get back apart if you need to. So I usually just put a little bit of high pressure lube on them, and they go together like butter with that stuff on there. So that you'll feel it click into the hose, and then it's threading on. Now, at this point, usually you would want to use an aluminum wrench so you don't mess the fittings up. Another thing you can do is, if you don't have an aluminum wrench, you can tape it. Or if you're like me and you just don't give a shit, you can just put a socket on a ratchet. And this way actually works pretty decent if you have as long as you use the right size socket. It doesn't really tend to mess them up at all. This is how I usually do all my straight fittings. Obviously you can't do this with a 90 fitting. You have to use a wrench. And when I do that, I usually tape up the fittings. So just thread it down. It'll keep getting tighter and tighter and tighter. If you're using a socket though, just try not to go too low or you'll hit the bottom fitting when you're turning it and you will gouge the bottom fitting. So once I get to the end there, I kind of stop turning it and make sure I'm leveled with the bottom. And right now it is down there, and just snug it. And it went together pretty good. It's got some, I mean, those soft jaws are still not the best. That mark on there is actually left from the soft jaw fitting. They're not gouges or anything, it just kind of scuffed the anodizing off of it. The actual top part that I used the socket on is fine though. But I figured I'd do a little video for you guys on how to throw some AN fittings together and, you know, definitely cover the benefits of why I use Vibrant stuff, which is that nice little flare that they put on the end of it that's a little bit bigger than almost everybody else's. So, I mean, I've had some companies' fittings, I mean, Summit Racing fittings, for example, are trash. Don't waste your money on them. I've destroyed so many of them, just brand new. Putting them together the same way, the threads just get mangled or the hoses get destroyed while tightening them down. And, you know, Vibrant stuff, it goes together like butter, and never had any issues with their fittings, so highly recommend them. But anyways, that's going to be it for this one. Just a short little video, kind of a build tip. Haven't done one of those in a while. Not really though. Whatever. Anyways, like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel, follow the build, and I'll catch you guys later.